going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Here we are at Lake in Michigan, across from Michigan Plaza. That's where we usually start and end our lives. There's Nando's. So hey, let's head through the loop of Chicago. I think today's Thursday, July the 10th, 2025. Hey Chris, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, I think there's a farmer's market there at Daley Plaza. We have beautiful sunshine here, 77 degrees. Krista, how you doing there? Ava, thanks for tuning in. How you doing here? Yeah, Rookery English Taco Pub. People are sitting outside. You got the windows kind of open. Garland Court here. Yeah, we'll see. Here's the parking garage that looks like a car. There's the Mather Tower, and there's the J.C. Rivera's work there. See it on every Broken English Taco Pub I see J.C. Rivera's work there. Leslie, how you doing there? Krista, Stephanie. Yeah, Tony's tuning in there. Lambie T. Yeah, appreciate everybody for being on here. Harold Washington College. Yeah, there's the parking garage. It looks like a grill of a car. But hey, there goes the CTA train heading around there. Brown line heading around the bend. Yeah, we'll head over to Daley Plaza and then we'll just tootle around the loop. We'll probably end up back at the Riverwalk, or we could go back to, we went to Millennium Park yesterday, even though we went, it was only briefly. We go through there so many times. But Chris, how you doing there? Raspberries and strawberries. Yeah, Chris knows his berries there. Chris knows where to go in the Park District and other areas to get the raspberries and strawberries, the boysenberries. Yeah, Ernie's tuning in there. Lambie T. Unruly Julie Reed, how you doing there? Yeah, Krista, if I missed anybody. Ernie, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Ernie, I saw you were at the fountain there. That's good. The Centennial Fountain. You got the geyser there. That's good. Hey, we'll cross the street if we get the light. And yeah, it's getting real. I can't believe. I saw the news. We were talking about it in the discussion there. ICE was intimidating the Puerto Rican museum there in Humboldt Park. That makes no sense to me. Puerto Ricans are American citizens. What's with the intimidation of American citizens at a Puerto Rican cultural museum? You know, that just, I'm very angry about that. And thanks for people for letting me know. I didn't realize it was going on. This train's not in service. Here's Wabash. But here we'll head by the Chicago Theater, see if the marquee's changed here. There's a line at Panda Express. But here we'll head down Lake Street. But this will be, see, this is why that big beautiful bill is bad, because it creates a bunch of funding for ICE and the militarization of the police to do stuff like this. And I'm against people with masks not identifying themselves as police officers, throwing people in the back of vans. I don't care if they're citizens or not. That is bad. How can we be the standard bearer of human relations and all the stuff we did with the United Nations to try to coerce other governments to respect the rule of law and democracy and human rights and relations, and then we throw it out and go back to our historical injustices that this nation can never come... You know, we will overcome, but we haven't yet. And we got to keep the faith here. It's hard, but hey, we'll enjoy the weather here. We'll work on what we can control. Yeah, look at this is news. So this is where the Chick-fil-A used to be. It's closed down. I wonder if something else is going to go in here. It's a pretty prominent location. And here we'll show the marquee here. Hey, the Chicago Theater there. Ringo Starr is going to be at the Chicago Theater July 9th to 10th. Is that no, that's 9/10. So that's September the 10th. They're already into August there. Ace, Secure Con there. But here's the Torture Museum there. Is this still open? Let's see if this is still open here. No, it's not. So here's some other news. The Torture Museum, no, it says open. Okay, it's open. $31.99. Okay, that's fake news. $31.99. The Torture Museum's still open here. this is available, and this is available. So Chick-fil-A here, we'll head across the street here and we'll get the she's getting it there, the marquee for the Chicago Theater. Scott, how you doing there? Ringo hit 85. He's looking good, isn't he? Ringo's in good shape. Ringo does take care of his health. He's a health nut. Ringo Starr. Isn't that amazing? Hey, we saw Fred this morning. Fred's a young 70. He looks in really good shape for 70. People were asking about his health. He said he's doing fine. And here we go, the Chicago Theater. An Evening with Francis Ford Coppola. Megalopolis, you're screening there, July 25th, Chicago Theater. They got the exit closed. I wonder why. I guess they were working on some of the station. I think it's a construction going on. Channel 7 News, of course. But here's Chicago Theater. There, Francis Ford Coppola. But yeah, Ringo Starr, I think in September. So there you go. See a living legend there, one of the 2 remaining Beatles. Hey, here's the plug walk. Loop of Chicago. Yeah, Denise, how you doing there? J Money, Naya's tuning in. Sorry, I mispronounced your name when I was in Chinatown. I always, we got Nia Azel and we got Naya Burnett. How you doing? Hope your family's doing well there and everybody here. You know where we're at here, State Street, that great street. There's the clock there on the old Marshall Fields. Yeah, I posted some more footage of the Cabrini Green redevelopment. It's amazing what's going on there by the Wayman Church. Hey, there's Muddy Waters there. Nice colorful mural there. Macy's. Yeah, let's head, we'll cross the street here and then we'll get the Methodist. I know you've seen it 1,000 times, but just showing what's going on at the Loop. Oh, one more car here. It's funny how the light's at 0 there, but then there it says 3, 2, 1. You can't go by this light. There, the last car's Randolph Street. We'll head over to Daley Plaza, see if there's the farmer's market going on there. Hey, Nederlander. Yeah, so Muddy Waters is been long gone. You're probably thinking of Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy's Legends, we went by there, which is great. Yeah, Buddy Guy's Legends is a blues bar in the Balboa and Wabash here in the South Loop. We went by there. And yeah, here's the Blick there. But yeah, I wish Muddy Waters was still around. B.B. King, all those blues legends. There's Block 37. And what are they playing there? I don't even know what they're playing there. Broadway in Chicago. I gotta watch where I'm going here. But hey, we'll head by the Dearborn restaurant there. Yeah, what's DeJander saying here? Yeah, we're not gonna do what you say. Listen to the Rage Against the Machine song. F you, I'm not gonna do what you tell me. I'm kind of angry, I'm kind of angry at what's going on in America. I think we all should. There's someone, and they might be watching right now. They were like, we can return to normalcy now that we got the president there. I said, this is not normal. We should not consider what's going on now normal. Yes, historically, we're going back to America's jingoistic, white supremacist past. Isn't that great? Yeah. So, but that we shouldn't consider that normal. Maybe normal for them. People that like what's going on here. Look at this. Look at that. There's the Thompson Center. Maybe we'll go by there. Yeah, let's race across here before these cars come. We got a little window where the bikes come here. They got the light here for the bike lane. But here, this is the Daley Center here. We'll go to Daley Plaza past the bikes here. And we'll check out the farmer's market briefly, and then we'll continue through the Loop here. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. If people are spamming, we have no tolerance in Trump's America for this. We'll do you and I and everybody else a favor. If people are spamming or putting political slogans in there, we'll just We'll make it so you can't see our content, we can't see you, and you can live in your world, let us live in ours. We're enjoying ourselves. Look at the beautiful sunshine here. Look at the, hey, we got a DJ. We got a DJ here, Farmer's Market here, Daley Plaza. The sun is shining. The weather's great. I'm a rainbow too here. Yeah, Stanford cheese here. So Nichols Farm and Orchard here. Look, they got squash and cucumbers, broccoli, cauliflower, berries. Chris, look at these berries. Look at this cornucopia of plenty, this world of abundance we live in here. Why are people hoarding stuff? Look at the shallots there, some onions, Nichols Farm. Yeah, got corn on the cob here. No, this is popcorn. This is popcorn. You could shell that, make your own popcorn. Yeah, Phoenix bean. Here's the eternal flame, thanks to all the military, all branches of the military. That's what that flame's for. See? Yeah. Farmer's Market here, Daley Plaza, Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, wow.
Arts and Flower Bakery here. What's happening on the news there? There's something going on the news. Rare dinosaur fossil. Okay, that's not what I saw. I saw something else, but it flashed off the screen before I could get around there. Tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. Look at that zucchini. Pigeons like it. Yeah, you got some meat here. Got some spreads. Jam, Stovers. Berrien Springs, Michigan. Yeah. Raw honey here. Dried fruit. Yeah. Look at these berries, Chris. Michigan fruit. Yeah, Michigan has such great fruit and cherries. Artesian breads here. Yeah, let's go check out the DJ here. How you doing? Yeah. Yeah, okay, Alex, thanks a lot. Permanent ban for Alex. Alex is permanently banned. That is awesome. We never get to see Alex again. Isn't that great? Who else wants to make my day here? Yeah, come on. Give me some crazy comment. You know you want to get blocked. I'll do it myself. Yeah. Yeah, Mayor, permanent ban. Yeah, look at this permanent ban. You don't get to see this DJ. People can't play, they can't enjoy a nice DJ here in the city of Chicago, the home of house music. What is wrong with people? Hey, Daley Center Engineering here, yeah. Yeah, you got the umbrella there, that's how you do it. Yeah, we're having a good time here in Chicago. Yeah, Viv, you want to be banned? Viv, test me. Come on, Viv, give me another comment here. Come on, give me your worst here, Viv. You know you want to write a hateful comment, Viv. Come on. Yeah, this is fun. I enjoy this. Hey, how you doing there? Hey, Julie Reed, how you doing there? Yeah, Germany, how you doing there? Okay, Philip 77, permanent ban. Yeah, that's great. No, we're just clearing out the people we don't want in here. Hey, Indianapolis is tuning in. Thanks, Gregory. How you doing there? Let's see. Do we need to ban anybody else here? Let me check the comments here. Yeah, house music. Thanks, Rochelle. How you doing there? No, Viv, I think you're on my side. Viv, I think you're okay. I couldn't tell. Hey, Melbourne, Australia's tuning in. That is awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Okay, good. I'll let the mods handle it here because we need to keep moving here. Let's see here. Valparaiso's tuning in. How you doing there, Central Montana? Yeah, it's okay. No, Michael, you're doing fine. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm not going to take it anymore. It's about to get real. We're going to, you know, 77 degrees. What a beautiful day here in Chicago. We got the farmers market. We got DJs. We got people enjoying themselves. And we're going to seize the afternoon here, enjoy our lunch break, walk through the loop, see what's happening here. Yeah, let's get across the street here really quickly. And yeah, summertime in Chicago. Thursday. We'll ease into the weekend. Yeah, let's go past the people are checking out the rare gems here. I've seen Jay City Walking Girl and other people check this out. Yeah, thanks RSKR. Thanks for the nice comment there. Yeah, give a thumbs up there if you like it. More people can find this. Hey, let's go in the Methodist. Let's go in the Chicago Temple here. So if you look here, see here, Chicago Temple. This, you see how tall this is? And you can see this from Daley Plaza. It's got a steeple in the top there. And I'll remove my hat. There I am. See how you doing here? First United Methodist Church here. I think we can go in here. Yeah, look at the Gothic spires here. And you guys know I'll probably lose my connection, but if we drop in and out, I'll just come in here for a minute and then we'll head out. So you can connect to the elevator that connects to the commercial space. And to the right is the chapel at the bottom. There's a chapel at the top. I've never ridden the elevator to the top. Look at this angel on the stairwell. Look at this beautiful elevator lobby. Even the elevator lobby in the ceiling. Look at that ceiling. Look at the elevators here. This is the First Methodist Church here, the corner of Clark Street and Washington, Loop, Chicago. And see, this is what it looks like on the outside. And there's a chapel up there at the top, and then they sold off the commercial space, or they lease it out, which is a smart way for the church to gain revenue from its location. And look at it, look at these stained glass windows here. This is the First Methodist Church chapel at the bottom. And hopefully I'm streaming okay here. Look at that ceiling. Wow. Just tuning in, we're in Chicago. We're in the First Methodist Church here. Loop, I'm on my lunch break here. And I'm not trying to promote one religion over the other. We go into Catholic churches. We went by a Buddhist center in the South Loop earlier this week. And I probably need to start going inside the Buddhist centers, see what they're like. Here's the Chicago Temple. Look at these stained glass windows. Look at that balcony. It's hard to fit it all in, but I'm probably losing my connection here, so we'll head back out here. But hey, yeah, I walk by this a lot, so we can come back and revisit it. We haven't been here in a while here, so hey, new senior pastor, there she is. Welcome, Methodist. So here, yeah, let's head back out. Let's check out the rare coins here. Isn't it lovely? Yeah, I'm trying to keep quiet. I tried to use my golf voice there. You know me, I'm a loud talker, especially when I'm in the street trying to talk over traffic. So hey, First United Methodist Church, Chicago Temple. Thanks for checking it out. See, look, 1834, 1922, and they built that in the 20s. There's church there originally. Look at these rare coins. Harlan J. Burke Limited, rare coins, 31 North Clark Street. Look what they got here. They got Mesopotamian stuff from Greece arrowheads. They got vials and stuff from antiquity. All these rare coins. Look at this stuff they got here. People checking it out here. And so we'll head down Clark Street. We'll cut over to LaSalle here. Hey, Alexander the Great. Coins that were used in Alexander the Great's time. They're BC, before the time of Christ. Ancient Greek coins, Roman coins. They got Egyptian stuff. Look at that. Nefertiti. Look at that. Yeah, look at these little... Look at this stuff here. Look at that. Ammonite fossils. They got ancient fossils. These things that are millions of years old. Look at that. So hey, thanks for tuning in here. What does this say? Okay. So here we'll head down. Let's cross the street here. Yeah, Clark Street here, south of Washington. Look at the Chicago alley there. Hey, Dolores is tuning in. Maria, thanks a lot there. Yeah, it's like a museum. Even the coin store there. Yeah, the churches. So you could do a whole Chicago feed just on churches. There is a woman in Europe that she just visits the cathedrals and churches of France and England and Germany. And she does a pretty good job, has many more followers than I do, and knows what she's talking about. I'm kind of doing it on the fly as an amateur here, but yeah, we got some wind here, breeze feels good. We'll cross the street here at Madison. Actually, we'll yeah, St. Peter in the Loops here, so we'll check out St. Peter in the Loop since we're doing churches here. We went to a Methodist church, let's go to a Catholic church here, St. Peter's in the Loop. There's, you see, this is pretty dramatic at the time of Lent because the people line up on either side here for Ash Wednesday, and there's a line both ways, and when the light hits this negative inverted space here, St. Peter's in the Loop here, that's what they call this. And there's really no windows, it's all artificial light because it's in the middle of the block. What's that right? This is St. Peter on Madison Street, right in the center of downtown Chicago. And they specifically built this church, I think, in the 1950s to serve people working in the downtown area. You know, so people could, and so there it is, St. Peter's in the Loop here. Let's cross the street here so I can show you from the other side of the street here. Show you this facade here. It's kind of interesting. So I've got reruns from Houston. I was in Houston, the Woodlands area there. We went by Rice University. I have been to Dallas. I haven't done much live stream from Dallas, but if I go through there, I would love to do some live streams from other cities. I'm kind of tied to my day job. This is my lunch break. Let me get a little further away here so we can see it here. Yeah, there's a lot of churches that are closed that are being converted to housing. We showed one earlier this week. I just did a rerun of the Wayman Church. It used to be an African Methodist Episcopalian or African Methodist Episcopal AME, and they're converting it to housing there. It's over by the Cabrini Green area. But here, look at this, St. Peter's in a Loop here. So here, let's head around to LaSalle Street here. We'll keep on going. Yeah, I'm missing comments here. Okay, so I dropped out there. Okay, good. Yeah, God stopped the stream. You're right. Yeah. Well, it's you get in those thick walls, and that's why I probably don't go in there as often, because I forget every time I go in there I lose my connection. But hey, thanks for sticking on. Maybe we got some of it for the reruns. Here, we'll go down LaSalle Street here, historically the financial heart of Chicago. Now it's kind of changing the housing. And not as many people work down in this area as they used to when it was the pits and the open outcry commodities exchange that was the Board of Trade there. The Mercantile Exchange is still there. It's over on Wacker. We might see it from a distance here, but yeah, nice city there. How you doing there, Tom? Snow surfer, yeah. All the Michaels are tuning in there. Yeah, what's shaking? Tom knows the Board of Trade. Honk Bonk, how you doing there? Oh yeah, I'd be interested in watching Build It back in the day there. Yep, how's it going, everybody? I see that, Ernie, that's good. So hey, yeah, Millennium on LaSalle. I guess that's a hotel there. Yeah, oh, you can rent studios. Oh, there's apartments. There's apartments. So this is the conversion of offices on LaSalle to housing. You can rent apartments right on LaSalle Street. You can live right here on LaSalle Street. And here's a protein bar. There is some commercial here. We can head through here, 39 South LaSalle. We're heading towards the Board of Trade here, Monroe Street. Yes, this is Chicago, Monroe Street and LaSalle. We're going to see the Sears Tower here pretty quickly. So the traffic's backing up here on Monroe. We're heading south on LaSalle in Chicago. I'll have to say it 200 more times because thanks for asking. It's just the nature of live streaming. I'll try to maintain my cool here. I feel like the dad driving the car and the kid's kicking me in the back of the seat, say, "Is this Chicago?" I say, "Yeah, it's Chicago." And then the other kid kicks the seat. "Is this Chicago?" "Yes, this is Chicago." And then somebody slaps me in the back of the head. "Is this Chicago?" "Yes, this is Chicago." "How you doing here? Welcome to LaSalle Street." And then people will be like, "I hate Chicago." "Good, why? Watch something else." "No, I'm going to stay here and just torture you." "Okay, good, I see why you're here. You want to kick a dog, torture a worm with magnifying glass." A lot of people in the world. You go fight in the wars there, we'll send you right to the front lines. You'll make a good battle fodder here. Here's One LaSalle Bank here. Look at the flags heading down LaSalle Street. Look at that. So this is kind of modeled off the old Masonic Temple, or the Masonic building. There was a Masonic building over on State Street where the Chicago Theater, and between Wabash and State, but it's gone. And it was one of the original skyscrapers that we lost. And they said then when they built that in the late 80s, they kind of modeled it off of it. Here, Adams and LaSalle. Let's go inside the Rookery. We missed it earlier in the week. Chris knows what it is. We'll go inside the Rookery building here, designed by Daniel Burnham and his partner, Wellborn Root, at that time. I think it's 1886 to 1888. Here, if I show it to you, I'll show it to you what it looks like across the street before we go inside here, and we'll talk about the Frank Lloyd Wright redid the lobby, and we'll go inside and see it. Usually the security's pretty cool about us, as long as you just stay on the bottom level and don't go inside. But here's the Rookery building. Look how nice it looks here. Here's the Board of Trade, the classic view. You've seen the Untouchables or Public Enemies or the Batman movie, or Transformers. They use this for scenes in those movies, as well as others. One of the most iconic vistas in Chicago, the Board of Trade, the Rookery building. They used this in What Women Want, a 2000 movie with Helen Hunt and Mel Gibson. So we'll go inside. I don't have to take my hat off for this, but I almost feel like it's a church to Frank Lloyd Wright. See the Rookery. Nice elevator lobby. Yeah, you can come in here and check it out for yourself. So this lobby's been renovated twice. Frank Lloyd Wright did it, and then another architect did it after him. And see, there's the Frank Lloyd Wright Trust. This is inside the Rookery in Chicago on LaSalle Street. Adams and LaSalle. And look how the glass, see, there's a big atrium up there, and so there's offices that look down on this from above, and then there's another light well at the roof. So there's two light wells. There's a light well, a glass light well at the top, and then there's this. And we're at the bottom here of the Rookery here. And this is probably the most interesting feature down here, is this inverted staircase. That I wish I could go up there, but you can't. It's just restricted access for just people that work in this building. But great light fixtures. Here's the Frank Lloyd Wright Trust. Look, they got some. It's like a gift shop. You can buy all kinds of crazy stairwells that are within this building, and Frank Lloyd Wright furniture. See, you know, like Louis Sullivan, and especially Frank Lloyd Wright, he wouldn't only just design the buildings and the ornamentation and even the windows, but he would also design the furniture that would go with his designs. They would design everything, you know, and look at the attention to detail. You know, it's a lost art here. Hey, thanks for checking it out. We got many reruns on this. Hey, look at this classic car. Wow. So we come out the Rookery and we see a convertible, classic 1950s convertible parked here on LaSalle Street. Let's see if we can get it with the Board of Trade here. Look at this. This is a classic car here. Look at, they're doing a tour right here. Wow. It's got the valet sticker on it.
I call it Willis.
They're arguing about the Sears and the Willis Tower, you know. There it is. Look at that. So you got that classic car with the Board of Trade there. Let's get that in there. Look at that. Wow. You seeing this Chevrolet Corvette here? Bright red, nicely restored. Look at that classic car. Old as gold, you got it. Oh, your stepfather had a vet just like that, but green. I bet that was pretty. Green color, yeah. Bright cherry red there. Isn't that nice, Michael? Yeah, I'm glad you guys saw that. Honk bonk. Yeah, postcard view, you got it. So here's the wind truss. I very much would like to take you inside there. It's beautiful inside there, but I lose my connection every time because the walls are so thick. There's a big lobby in there. I'll have to film it and just record it. And here's the Federal Reserve of Chicago. Of course, there's the Money Museum. It's free. I've got a rerun on it. People have asked me to go to it. Please watch the rerun. I took a whole hour or half an hour and we went around, and there's reruns on YouTube of the Money Museum, and I transferred even over to TikTok. So message me either on TikTok or YouTube if you want to see the Money Museum. You go in here. You do have to go through a security, but then you can go in the Money Museum, which is right here in the corner of the Federal Reserve, LaSalle and Jackson Boulevard, underneath the Board of Trade here, and you can learn a lot about our fiat currency that we're going to add $3 trillion in debt. Republicans are adding to the national debt after they threatened to shut down the government so many times, and then when they're in charge, they just add to the debt because they really don't have any principles or backbone or spine, just like the Democrats don't either. I equally despise politicians on all sides now because they all let us down. And the only people that like it is the stock market. So there, eat your heart out, Board of Trade. Here, let's head through here. And we're heading down Jackson. I think Wall Street actually likes it when the government's dysfunctional because they can get away and no one's checking what they're doing. Money doesn't care. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Honk Bonk. Thanks for your smart comment there. I know we got a nice, intelligent audience. You get what I'm saying there. And I have to speak tongue-in-cheek, sarcasm too. I know my my sarcasm offends people because sarcasm's the most offensive form of humor. It's meant to be incendiary and reactionary. There, we're going underneath. Well, this is Wells Street. This is Wells Street. This is the Quincy stop on the Chicago Loop here, the CTA Loop, elevated train system. 209 Jackson. There's the 311. Excuse me, South Wacker building. We're gonna head by the Sears Tower. We got 1236, and I'm gonna have to reverse this, and we'll head straight back towards my office there. The Brooks building. There's Luke's Chicago style sandwich, Chicago style hot dogs and sandwiches here. And we got the scaffolding here. Oops. How you doing? Oh, good. That's good. Trying to head through here. It's kind of crowded with this scaffolding here. There's the Giordano's here, the Brooks building. Chicago style pizza. But here we'll get a view to the Sears Tower here. Let's cross the street so we can get a better view of it here before the light changes here. The bike's coming across. Hey, Giordano's, there's a line. There it is, Sears Tower. Can you see the top? Yeah, they got a green roof there. There's some people up there on the deck. There, let's get across the street here. I don't have time to waste here. Yeah, 311. South Wacker building. Here's the Sears Tower. Yeah, let's cross the street here. Yeah, we'll head up Franklin. We don't usually go up Franklin. See, we usually go over there. We'll head up Franklin. We were shaking up this way. Yeah, I already ate something before I started this. I had a sandwich, nothing big. Thanks for asking. You know, just eating there at my desk there. It's the American way. You know, normal people would like go out and socialize and have lunch with friends or significant others or something, and I'm spending it with you. So thanks for tuning in here. We're head up Franklin Street. Yeah. Yeah, let's see, other live streamers. Illinois Bell, yeah. Hot dogs, yeah. Yeah, please don't call me an influencer. I'll protest that. I'm a content creator. I know, where it's confusing in the age of, I don't expect to influence anybody to buy things or change your political opinions or anything based on what I say. I recommend people think for themselves. Yes, I will cover protests. I was in Texas when the No Kings March. If I was in Chicago, I would have covered them. I didn't want to leave time for my family, for my nephews, my sister, and my father-in-law on Father's Day, which is when that happened, to, and I regret that I covered NASCAR. Now I wish I didn't cover NASCAR, but here we'll cross, where we at here? We're back at Monroe Street, and we're at Franklin Street. But yes, I will cover the protests. I expect there to be more protests. I am incensed and angry about ICE agents, masked, unmarked ICE agents working with federal agents, intimidating people at the Puerto Rican Museum. Puerto Ricans are American citizens. We all should be incensed about that. What does that have to do with undocumented migrants? Puerto Ricans are not migrants. Here's Chicago. They're U.S. citizens that are free to travel between Puerto Rico and the United States. Here's Chicago, just like we're allowed to go to Puerto Rico without a passport. 300 West Adams. Jen Jensen was an architect. Jen Jensen, of course, did a lot of landscape architecture, including the Garfield Park Conservatory. Jens Jensen. He influenced Alfred Caldwell, who did the Caldwell Lily Pool. And yeah, that's the old Illinois Bell AT&T building. They don't longer call it the AT&T building. And there used to, there's a passageway that's kind of dramatic. You can walk through. Well, every time I go through there, corporate security escorts me out. So, you know what I think about corporate security and corporations. Sell your stock, screw the stock market. I'm not an influencer. I'm not influencing you. Think for yourself. You can buy my stocks, and then you can take the risk, and I'll end up living on the street there with Mortimer and the guys from Trading Spaces there, when they did King of Queens, or Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, which was kind of a second play on Trading Spaces there, another movie with Eddie Murphy. Mortimer and Winthrop, was that their names? The guys from the Philadelphia Stock Exchange? Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Wes. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm planning to take it easy this weekend. Thanks for asking. I haven't even gotten to the weekend yet, so we'll get there when we get there. Fiesta del Sol is not happening until when Lollapalooza. It's going to be at the end of the month. I hope there's no problems with Fiesta del Sol. I know there was some other festivals that have been canceled because of this. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. Here's so hey, it looks like that's new. They took out, there was a bunch of trees along there. So here we're at Madison and Franklin, and it looks like they're doing some construction on the plaza in front of it here. So here, let's head across here. We'll go past the food truck here. So Loop of Chicago. Let's head over to Wells Street here. We'll get off of Franklin. Franklin's okay, but it's not the most interesting street, in my opinion. LaSalle and Wells is interesting because of the elevated tracks. See, there's a passageway you can walk straight through the former AT&T building, which this building itself is 1,000 feet tall. It's over 1,000 feet tall, and it's almost hidden and dwarfed because of the Sears Tower in the Loop. Isn't that amazing that you can have 1,000-foot building that you almost don't recognize unless you're standing next to it? And look at this nice little plaza here. Look at the lights. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Body Energy Club, 200 West Monroe. That's where we're at if you're looking for an address. Thanks for tuning in to Loop of Chicago. We got 77 degrees, 12:42. We checked out the farmer's market. And we permanently block people that make stupid comments. So, you know, I know people want to joke around and stuff. We know the people that are regulars. I tolerate pushback and dissent from people that are long-term followers, but people I don't know just randomly heckling me will do you and me a favor. And I got moderators. There was the pink line heading by here. This is why I came over to Wells Street. There's a nice little park over here. Yeah, let's head through this park. It looks really nice in the summertime here. And it's like a little leftover piece of land here. I can't believe there's only a 3-story parking garage here. That needs to be something better than that. Like if you're gonna build in something like right next to transit, they build a parking garage. Here's the brown line heading through here. Yeah, I agree with you, Rory. Rory, I agree. Release the Epstein files. Pam Bondi, they promised, and it's bipartisan. There's people within MAGA that want that released. People on the right want it released. People on the left want it released. Trump is covering it up. Maybe Biden covered it up, but Trump's doing it too. And there's probably some really powerful people on both the left and the right that they don't want the names out there. Very suspicious suicide there in jail with Epstein. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. I don't think we can get out. We can get out this way. Look at this nice park here. You can just sit here and have your lunch. And they do gate it off because, of course, homeless people would try to sleep here late at night, or it'd be a safety issue. You know, you wouldn't want to be there at night. You feel like you're trapped. But here we'll head up Wells Street. Look at that! Look at that passageway. Huh. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but it's bipartisan. There's some people on the right that are regretting their vote for Trump, and of course people on the left. The president made it known how he feels about us. He said he hates us, and I know Hillary called the right deplorables, but at least deplorables can be redeemed. When you hate somebody, that's pretty strong language, especially when they're in control of the nuclear weapons. Talking about the president. Here, Madison and Wells here. So I was wrong. We were on Monroe Street. That wasn't Madison. Now we're at Madison and Wells. I lose track of my cross streets here. So forgive me if I make a mistake. I'm doing this on the fly, trying to answer comments, look where I'm going, and think about what I'm going to talk about. I can't chew gum and juggle at the same time here. But here's some restaurants and stuff here. Circle K. Nice convenience store. We got an Arby's over here underneath the L tracks. Cafecito. See, there's a Cafecito up on Fullerton near me. It's a Cuban restaurant, and there's one here next to the Arby's here. And Arby's was a sponsor of NASCAR. We saw that. Cafecito right here. You get the sweet coffee there. It's a nice steak. This is Wells Street, north of Madison. We're heading up to Washington and Wells. This is the Washington and Wells stop on the loop. Many train lines make a stop here. The pink, the purple, the orange, and the brown. There's the Chicago Alley. Look at that. Here we'll head up to Washington Street here. Hey, Tokyo Lunchboxes here. Is this still open or not? Nope, it's not. Huh. The Dragon Sushi Bar. That's not open either. La Cocina. Mexican Grill. It's open. You go to La Cocina. Yeah. Mr. Submarine. Hertz. You can rent a car. The cleanest, yeah. The city's looking cleaner than ever. That's the one positive comment we consistently get. That the streets and the sidewalks are cleaner. Most people are comparing us to New York City, which is not a hard bar to pass here. But hey, wow, where are we at here? We're back at Washington. Yeah, so we'll head up Washington. Look at this building. Look at the detail at the top. I think this is housing now. This is Hannah's Pretzel, Bangaroo's, Aussie Pies here. It's 180 Washington, West Washington Street. And look at these vintage skyscrapers. That's over on Randolph. That's housing now too. Look at the top of that building. And look at these. These have been converted to housing. There's more people than ever that live in the loop. See how they added all those balconies? And then look at this building. That's one of the rare from the 1870s, 1880s commercial storefront, and then that building's cantilevered over the top of it. So here we'll head back over to. We'll go up by the Thompson Center. We'll check out the construction there. We got 1248 here. Hey, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, there's homeless people. I mean, don't insult my intelligence. You know, we show homeless people. We walked by homeless people in Lincoln Park under the underpass. We showed them underneath the lower levels of Michigan Avenue. I show the city as it is, not as we want it to be. I know you're just making a comment there. I appreciate it. There's yeah, look at that. I think this is converted to housing, all this stuff. This is still commercial here though. Office buildings on LaSalle Street. We'll get a really good view to the Board of Trade here. And we'll walk by City Hall here. How you doing? I just want to cross here before this light changes. See, we were down there. We were down closer to the Board of Trade. We're just seeing it from further back. That's where the Rookery building, if you rewind that, we went inside the Rookery building there. Thanks for tuning in here. Here, let's head around here. LaSalle Street. We'll head up to the Thompson Center. We'll cruise by the construction here. Yeah, City Hall, Cook County and City Hall combined. Whole block here. They built this in like around World War I, early 1900s here. So here, there's Icarus and his friend there. Flew too close to the sun. I cannot believe the stock market, it just keeps going up. To me, there's no reason for it, except for the tax cuts. They got so much money and now they're creating new debt to support the stock market. That is literally what's going on, and I am strongly against it. And, you know, I believe in capitalism. Capitalism's done a lot of good. But extreme greed is not one of the, you know, Gordon Gekko. That's what this is. You fly too close to the sun, you do get burnt. And we're going to pay a price for all this debt, both created by the Democrats and the Republicans. They both put us in this situation. I think it's irresponsible of Generation X, my generation, and the baby boomers to pass on all this debt to the next generation. It will weaken America. It will be used against us. It will limit our options. And no one cares because we'll all be dead before, just like climate change. And that'll be the legacy of the baby boom generation and Generation X, is that we just passed on. We passed the buck, and they should not forgive us for it. So here's the Thompson Center. This used to be the State of Illinois building, Helmut Jahn. Google bought it, and they're renovating. You see how they're changing the curtain wall. So at least kudos to Google. As much as I complain about social media, at least they're investing in something that's affecting the real world, and not just buying cryptocurrency and Dogecoin. Hey, Parade, Tony Award winner. They're reviving this Parade musical here, August 5th through 7th. But look at that. I don't know if I like it. If that's what it's going to look like, you know, are they going to is it going to look all rough and unfinished? I don't know if I like this, but we'll see how it takes shape there. What do you guys think? What do you think of how this is taking shape? Helmut Jahn, I'm sure Helmut Jahn wouldn't like it at all. May rest his soul there. Henry, how you doing there? That made no sense. Who's spamming here? Let's see. Yeah, flying too close. Wonderful city there. Yeah. Yeah. You think I want to ruin my reputation by becoming a politician and promising people and lying to people and gaslighting people? This is what politicians do. Politicians are the worst scum on earth, and some of them end up being president, you know. There's both sides, both parties. Think of Hunter Biden, you know. You know, thank God we don't have nepotism, you know, or Trump's sons. I wouldn't want them running the country either. Here's or daughters. Here's yeah, look, here's the plaza. This is the big atrium. And remember that Snoopy and a Blender sculpture that used to be there. Clark Construction here. So here, we'll head around here. What time we got? 12:52. So hey, we checked out the Daley Plaza here. we'll head over to Lake Street and we'll just head back along Lake Street. We haven't gone this way in a while. Usually we go by the Riverwalk. I don't have time today, so we might do it tomorrow. I might work from home tomorrow, so we'll do something else. We've got reruns of the Riverwalk from Saturday with all the boat traffic and stuff. So here, let's head through here and we'll check out the construction progress here. Scotland, how you doing there, Ronnie? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we got beautiful weather today. We got 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 25 degrees Celsius. I don't know. I'm not exactly good with my conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit, but hey, just look at that crane there. So, look at this elevator going up, the construction elevator for the new Google here. Google offices here, Loop of Chicago. We're on Clark Street. We're going to head to Lake Street. Yeah, people are still getting their real IDs. This is a temporary DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. You got to get a real ID with the star to fly. And the line's not as long as it used to be, so this is good news. It was around the block. Here's the Clark and Lake Station. Hey, get your real ID. There goes the pink line. There goes the pink line heading through there. Yeah, before the construction, it was called the State of Illinois building. It was called the Thompson Center, and now Google's renovating it, and that's why it's under reconstruction. It was called the Thompson Center, the State of Illinois building. I know it had two names. It's really confusing, and now it's going to be Google headquarters. Thanks for tuning in here. So, almost got hit by a car here. So here, we'll head down Lake Street here. But hey, we saw Fred this morning. I might cut that down and rerun. People were asking how Fred was doing with his health because we posted that rerun from a year ago, and he gave us an update on his health. Fred's the guy we see usually on Dearborn Street there in front of the Houghton, and I think he just got there. He drove up there. He's pretty much retired. He works like 2 hours a day just maintaining that building. It was nice. He's 70 years old. He looks like he's 50. He's a good guy there, Fred. Here, let's head across here. Oh, here, let's watch this orange line here. We'll watch the orange line going around to Midway, going around a loop. It'll head back out to Midway, the southeast side, or southwest side, excuse me. Hey, dude. I was gonna stop. The guy on the bike was worried I was gonna walk out in the lane there. I got too rambunctious there. I know what it's like riding there. You see somebody heading, you're like, man, they're gonna walk right into me. Yeah, Google's headquarters, that's worse. What's worse? What's worse than government services? Google. We're watching Google right now. YouTube's owned by Google. Here's Goodman Theater here, Clark Street at Lake. Yeah, there's so much going on. I get overwhelmed too. Like, I try to film stuff in the loop and people are asking me questions and people stop me in the street and the trains are going by and I'm getting hit by cars and bikes and it's hard to maintain my composure here. We're doing the best we can. Hey, Loop of Chicago, Lake Street, heading under the L tracks here, near the L tracks. We're back to the State Lake Station. We'll see the Chicago Theater once again. We'll catch the Ringo Stars coming to Chicago September, I think. We'll catch yeah, he just did a fart there. That's what he thinks of me. Good. Thanks for letting me know. Here's here's State and Lake. Yeah. There's the Witt Hotel. There's a helicopter up there. Here's State and Lake. Get the orange, green, purple, pink lines. Brown line on the other side. But here's the Chicago Theater. There it is. Look. Chris DiStefano, Zakir Khan, but Ringo Starr. September the 10th. We'll be at the Chicago Theater, State Street. There's State Street looking south, Chicago Theater. Yeah, this Chick-fil-A's closed. The Torture Museum's still open. And there's let's show this bridge in the upright position here. This is the State Street Bridge. Look at that, the State Street Bridge in the upright position. Look at that. So here we'll head straight back to Michigan Avenue here. Yeah, check it out someday. Chicago, just like New York City, LA, San Francisco, beautiful areas in the city, or in the United States. Miami, Florida, Las Vegas, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, New Orleans, Savannah, Georgia, Philadelphia, Boston, all these beautiful, Detroit, Minneapolis, Cincinnati, Louisville, Indianapolis, St. Louis, all these great cities, Milwaukee, Detroit. Did I say Detroit already? Cleveland, even Cleveland, Pittsburgh, all these great cities throughout Baltimore, Inner Harbor, Atlanta, so many places. Seattle, Washington's a beautiful, Portland, Oregon. Here comes the Brown Line. Phoenix, look at that. Denver, Colorado, look at that. Kansas City. This is the Harold Washington College here. Here's a view to the Trump Tower right there. So here we'll head across here. We'll show Wabash here. 12:59. We made it back. I didn't think we were going to make it back in time, but we did a nice cruise through the loop there. There's looking down Wabash. Look at that density of the loop. We'll head back to Michigan Avenue. Yeah, we'll cross right here. We can beat this car, no problem. There's a view of the Trump Tower. And yeah, Virgin Hotels, Elephant Castle. Oops, go ahead. Trying to get across the traffic here. And yeah, there's that parking garage. It looks like a car grill there. We'll head over Michigan Avenue. I hear the train coming behind us there. Hey, thanks, Pete. Thanks for tuning in there. Appreciate it, Chris. Yeah, there's Uno's. Yeah, we went by Uno's this morning on TikTok. Where were you at? Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, we went by Dewey's and Uno's. It's on Ohio and Wabash. We walked right this morning. Then we went to Italy. Italy opens at 7 a.m. So we walked through there, but none of the restaurants were open. It was just the grocery portion. But so hey, thanks to the mods, thanks to everybody else, thanks for checking out the loop here on this beautiful 77, 78 degree day. I'll probably work from home tomorrow, so we'll head home after 5 o'clock on TikTok, and then we'll probably walk by the beach. It looks like it's gonna be nice and sunny, not too hot. Be a perfect day to walk by the beach there, Oak Street Beach, North Avenue Beach, and then we'll go through Lincoln Park back to where I live here. So thanks everybody, I really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll cross the street here. Got 16 seconds, we can make it. I'm always rushing to get across the street because I get tired of waiting at this light. But here, look at this nice view. You get to the Wrigley building as we cross Michigan Avenue. Looking north there. We're crossing at Lake Street. And look at the line to Nutella. I'm always amazed at this line to Nutella. I don't understand it either, but there's a lot of people like Nutella. You get your name right on the jar. Nando's is above. Nando's are all over the city here. Lake in Michigan. We'll cross the street. We'll head back to work here. So thanks everybody. We get the light here. We can go. So hey, Michigan Plaza. Have a great day there. The rest of your Thursday. Thanks everybody. Christopher, son, Dolores, all the Michaels, Ernie. Thanks for being on. Chris, thanks for being on. And if I missed anybody, thanks for your comments. Tom and everybody else there. So we'll see you soon from Chicago. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on TikTok after 5 tonight. Thanks a lot. Okay. Yeah.